I've built a lot of underrated characters on this channel, and Gaming is no exception. Whatever the reason may be, Gaming has had a really low usage rate in the Abyss. To be fair, this is largely due to him being a more recent 4-star, meaning most players won't have significant constellations to use it properly. In keeping with my fixation on using characters others rarely use, I've decided to build him after getting a C6 recently. What I didn't realize is that this would be one of the most powerful characters I've ever built, so let's get into it. Being a more recent 4-star, it might not be surprising to hear that Gaming has one of the most powerful C6s in the game. Looking at what it provides, you get 80 crit value for simply just existing. This is more powerful than some 5-star C6s, let alone 4-stars. If I were to try and present an argument for power creep existing in Genshin in terms of character kits, this is probably one of the examples I'd go with. Now, just because his constellations are powerful doesn't mean there aren't ways to optimize his overall gameplay. The key aspect of Gaming's kit that allows for this is Manchai. In order for Gaming to reset his skill and do a plunging attack during his enhanced state, he needs to collect Manchai. And the faster you can collect them, the more plunges you can do. There are two methods that I familiarize myself with for this particular video, being N1 dash and catching it in midair. The easier one to do is N1 dash. The idea is that after every plunge, you auto attack the enemy once, which gives time for Manchai to touch the ground. Once this happens, you dash to the location Manchai dropped to in order to pick him up faster and then plunge again. The slightly harder method is via, well, plunge stalling. You use his burst before his skill, wait a bit, and then activate his skill. The idea is you want to catch Manchai in midair so that you plunge faster and get more per burst. This method can be easily messed up if you don't catch Manchai, since only one can exist on the field at any point, meaning that if it already exists on the field and then you use Gaming's skill to plunge, another one won't spawn. Probably catching is a bit difficult in midair, and while I try to do it in this video, I do fail to do this on a large amount of occasions, and so that's why I practice the N1 dash method, because that's what I use as backup essentially. Now you may be asking, what's the maximum amount of plunges you can do with Gaming? I'm not sure, largely because I couldn't find anything definitive when I tried searching online briefly. To be fair, this is probably because I didn't spend a whole lot of time looking this up, so there's probably a video out there that discusses how many you can actually do, and I just didn't find it. KQM has 7 plunges in their Gaming rotation, but I'm pretty sure more than 7 is possible per rotation. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments down below. With all these things in mind, I decided to build Gaming a melt team without using the most premium possible supports. After all, he's already good enough on his own to probably clear, so why do I need to build the most premium supports for this? For the character slots, I decided to pick Rosaria, Diona, and Yanfei. Rosaria would be able to provide a decent amount of crit rate via her A4 passive and cryo application necessary for Gaming to melt with. Diona would be able to keep Gaming's HP topped up, which gives him damage benefits from both constellations and passives, while also providing 200 EM from her C6 and extra flat damage using Songs of Days Past. Having 2 cryo characters in the party also enable cryo resonance, giving another 15% crit rate. As for Yanfei, she enables pyro resonance and gives more attack via Thrilling Tales. I would have also said she gave 120 EM from instructors as well, but my dumbass forgot to put instructors on her and she was on exile during the Abyss runs, which I didn't realize until after I had already finished the runs. Speaking of artifacts, let me quickly go over the builds I used. For Gaming, I decided on 4-piece Crimson Witch. This is because I was already getting around 55% crit rate from a combination of Cryo Resonance, Rosaria A4 passive, and Gaming C6. I really didn't need more crit rate from my artifacts, and my, well, Marechaussee Hunter set isn't really hyper-spec'd into crit damage, leaving Crimson Witch as my only other option. 4-piece Gilded Dreams could have also been a good option for Gaming, but I decided against using it because I was getting a lot of EM from my supports already and the weapon I was going to be using on Gaming, which was Mailed Flower. As for Rosaria, I had her on 4-piece Emblem for some more personal damage. I was using the Noblesse pieces on the other team for Abyss, which is why she doesn't have that set instead. I also put her on Favlance to curb energy issues. As for Diona, I put her on Songs of Days Past, like I mentioned earlier. This provides some extra damage to Gaming and makes use of her healing quality more. As for her weapon, I used Favbow. If I had Elegy, I would have used it here, but alas, I don't own that weapon. Finally, Yanfei was using 4-piece Exile because I completely forgot to swap to instructors like I mentioned earlier. and she was using Throwing Tails to buff Gaming more. Okay, my excuse for messing this up is I've been having to juggle artifact builds a lot recently. It's been rough. All in all, it was a decent team. With all that said, it was Abyss time. I wasn't all that confident I'd be able to produce clean Gaming gameplay, largely because I didn't have as much time to practice as you may see in the future video. Regardless, I hope you enjoy the run. And yeah, those are the Abyss runs. I would say Gaming C6 is pretty strong. I mean, giving 80 crit value for free, it makes any character strong by default, effectively. I did have some fun with optimizing his overall gameplay because catching Monchai in midair is a lot more difficult than you would think. I honestly might be using Gaming a lot more just to do fast clears because he's really strong. And also because maybe I'll revisit him in the future video when I've actually refined my, well, his overall gameplay better. In any case, thank you for watching, and see you next time.